Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Toonkind at 12 frames per second. I am Authenticity. Today I will be playing the Takeoff Chicken. I am joined by several fantastic friends, perhaps going from top to bottom.
That's me. Go figure. Hello, I am Oatmeal, and today I will be playing the Professor.
Hello, I am Winona, and I am be playing a Scribbles Scrambles.
Hi, I am Arrows, and I will be playing Nebula Rose. And I almost just introduced myself as Nebula. I am not Nebula. I'm playing Nebula.
Beloveds. So many good characters.
Yes.
So...
You go, sorry.
No worries. So, a few, weeks ago, there had been some discussion about the necessity of having a sort of parental sort of meeting. Because there's a lot of people who have sort of taken younger folks that they care very much about under their wing, and no one's communicating, and no one's on the same page, and everyone's doing shit, and everyone's in trouble. So, after a few recent escapades that we'll get into, the Fellowship has been called to meeting. How would Scribble sort of get into contact with everyone?
With airplanes. With little paper airplanes.
Yes. We just have a montage of like donk, donk, donk. People getting hit in the head with them.
Yes.
What does the letter say? Out of curiosity.
Probably along the lines of, hey, a lot of stuff has been going on. I feel like we as parents need to keep up to date on stuff since a lot has happened, at least on my end. Pretty sure that maybe you guys had some stuff too. So let's meet up.
Yeah, T.O.C looks at the 5 new babies that they have custody over, and they're just like, yeah, it seems like a good idea. Where have they been called to meet?
Scribbles apartment, like usual.
Fair enough.
Is this the first time Nebula's been to Scribble's apartment?
Yes, this is the first time that Nebula's been to Scribbles apartment.
Hopefully, he included an address there.
Yes, he did include an address specifically for Nebula's.
Well, I wonder which one of us shows up first.
Do we
Roll
want to
initiative?
basically roll initiative for it?
Yes!
Yeah, I was about to say roll initiative.
I have a pretty good chance.
I mean, that's pretty good.
A 9.
8.
All right.
Nebula's trying to find this place. He hasn't been here before.
T.O.C has little legs.
He has little legs. And to be fair, like we're struggling to beat a time traveler to an appointment. Like
That's true. Consider with how close T.O.C and Nebula are, consider that they meet along the way.
I would allow that. I mean, I feel like it makes sense.
Maybe that's part of why they're so slow. They get caught up in talking.
So, how's the professor gonna handle this? Is he gonna put the ellipsis inside the apartment again?
Nah. This time he's just gonna travel normally. Yeah, probably, depending on where you are in Toontown, like, mostly walking.
I mean, there would be probably a good spot for the ellipsis to, like, park on the side. It's somewhat close to the apartment.
He gets around. However, yeah, I mean, yeah, he's probably got the ellipsis at least on this side of town right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he knocks on the door.
I'm imagining one of those parallel parking spaces, and he just puts the ellipsis in one and gets out and puts some quarters in the little meter.
No, absolutely not. Never. As much as I
Only
love
park illegally.
only park illegally.
God.
Yeah, the door opens to the professor to see Scribbles like, oh, Professor Good, you're able to come. Come on in.
Yes. And he does come in. What exactly is this about? I'm not really sure who... was I meant to get that letter?
You were. I mean, after what happened with Epsilon, well, I think it'd be only fair if I told you what I've been getting into lately, because a lot has happened since then and now.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, you never know. I probably may need your help on this.
Ah, alright.
Yeah, but come on in. Hopefully the others will be coming around soon. You know you know T.O.C.
Yes.
Do you know Nebula by chance?
I don't think I've met anyone named Nebula here, here in Inkwell, no.
I was just curious, since they talk a lot with T.O.C. I didn't know if you happened to meet them on the way. And Scribbles leads you over to the table which is set up with a nice little tea set. And say he's made tea for everyone. There's biscuits and everything, and cookies, and
Nice.
Scratch is nibbling one of them with his little mug on the side, and Scratch waves inside. Hello.
Yeah, Professor cheerily signs hello back.
Yeah, Scratch is yellow. And probably not too long after getting knock on the door again.
Hold on, we were trying. We were trying to figure out who knocked.
Yeah, it's
Play rock, paper, scissors over it.
God, I mean, we can each roll a d20 to see who like gets to it first.
Sure, why not?
19.
Yeah, no, that's T.O.C.
There's a very quiet sort of like scrabbling as among two adults who are generally dignified, but also at the same time definitely children. And then you hear a little.
That must be them. And Scribbles goes over and opens the door. Oh, you two came together. That's good.
T.O.C. will sign hello.
I say Scribbles signs back. Hello. Come on in.
Scribbles?
Oh, hey Nebula. Hello, Nebula. It's good to see you again. I say it's the first time, I think this is the first time you see my apartment, right?
Indeed. He is looking around curiously. Should I roll a perception check?
I say everything is pretty much out in the open. I should have this prepared, but say let me pull up the room to the apartment, which is still not updated. But I say a lot of things have happened.
That is fair.
I'm also bad at layouts. I'm just bad at making layouts.
That's a mood. Also, quick question: did the letter mention who all was being called here? Does Nebula know that the professor is here, or what was intended to be here as well?
Yeah, say he mentioned the names.
Okay.
And you go into the apartment, and the little kitchen area right there they say the professor sitting down. They say the living room is all neat and tidy and stuff. You can also see the tea set and the cookies and biscuits that are on there for us to all to eat.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, if he sees the professor, he'll be like, "Oh, hello. I assume you're this professor that Scribbles mentioned."
Yes, I'm the professor, and you must be Nebula.
Indeed.
Nice to
It's
meet
nice
you.
to meet you.
T.O.C. Walks around Nebula's legs and waves to Scratch.
Scratch smiles and waves back.
Mm.
Where is Scratch again? I was distracted
He's
when
on
you
the
mentioned that.
Scratch is just on the table, sitting eating some cookies with his little mug.
Baby.
Yeah, also waving to Scratch.
Scratch waves back too as he has a mouthful of cookie.
Beloved.
But yeah, T.O.C. will hop up on the table in front of one of the chairs because chairs don't really work for chickens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Scratch immediately goes to T.O.C. and snuggle under them like egg.
Mm. I only cut a little bit of that because my connection died for just a quick sec, but
No.
T.O.C. will just sort of shuffle a wing over Scratch, just like it's sleepy time.
Yes,
You're
it's sleepy
a
time.
little child.
Yes, they are.
Well,
Actually,
who's all parents of whom?
The main person that I'm parenting of is Marigold right now, which I'm co-parents with Nebula and T.O.C.
Mm-hmm.
Nebula nods.
Mm-hmm.
and you and I are co-parents-ish of Seeker.
Right.
And then they start like counting silently on their fingers. Still counting. And they're just like, I've got a bunch. If they come up, they come up. I don't think, actually, hang on. There's Crystal and Cassie, Cass, Marigold's accounted for, Seeker's accounted for. Do Eeny, Miny, and Mo count as 3 or 1? I'm not sure. Anyways,
That's a good question.
I have not met an Eeny Miny and Mo, but
3 heads. Hence
Oh.
the confusion.
I see. That makes sense then.
3 times the trouble.
Hmm.
And they're still counting. And they go, and we have 5 new ones at home.
Oh.
Oh, really?
A friend, Philippe, is undertaking something dangerous, and they entrusted their tadpoles to me.
Oh.
Oh, I see.
Mm. And to look at T.O.C, they look a little bit more haggard in that way that like people with very small babies sometimes do.
Uh-huh.
Scribbles nods and scoots over a teacup over to T.O.C.
Mm. They down it like a shot.
I can make espresso if you want me to.
I don't know what that is.
You may need it. Scribbles goes over to the kitchen and starts making espresso.
Caffeine. Just dose it for the correct weight.
Yeah, I'll make sure to dose it correctly.
Just give him a tablespoon of espresso.
He
God.
makes a couple of he makes a like sort of a little little thing for each one of them in case they want to express so too. Because they feel like it's going to be a long conversation.
Mm. But yeah, T.O.C. looks around like, well, I mean, I could go on and on about my rabble. There are many. Many of them are in various stages of adventuring and plot and storylines, if you will. But
You could definitely say that probably. I met one possible plot line. Though
really,
it's definitely more benign. But you know a Trini, right?
I do not.
yes. Roll an insight check.
Yeah.
Insight. What's your insight? Okay, it's only +1.
Gosh, the tone in their voice.
Oh, dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Hang on.
At the mention of Triniton, private investigator.
Woo.
21, okay.
Dang.
Sure, I'll do one for Nebula too. Is this insight?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh.
And you get advantage. Actually, I
You're
guess, let's see, I suppose all of you would get advantage, although some of us may not need it.
I mean, I'll see. I'll roll to see if I get a crit. I always roll for the crit. I got a crit!
Oh my god.
This is why I always roll for the crit.
Well, I did not crit, so I won't bother putting it down.
Gosh. That's amazing.
Okay, well,
So that's two 19s
21.
and a 20 for naturally, and then the 21, 23, and another 21 for with modifiers. Gosh.
God.
Everyone perceives the chicken. They all know. They all know.
I mean, it's like they're wearing their heart on their little chicken sleeves, so I mean, you all know them well enough to know what they look like angry. They are furious. They whoever this person is to them, probably a very close family, closer than most. They are acting so stupid. T.O.C. is just like, oh, like simmering. But underneath that is this sort of bone-shaking worry. Just
Yep. Scribbles immediately flies up his hands. Like, there's nothing wrong. It's not a bad plot at all. It's not a bad plot. It's actually a good plot. There may be someone who is possibly interested in him.
In what way?
is it Daffodil?
You know, fair enough. Yes, her name is Daffodil.
They smile. They don't look less worried at all, but they smile all the same.
Yeah, we met at a mall to get Valentine's gifts, and let's say, I think he'll like what she got him.
Oh, a romantic interest.
Yes.
What's
Oh,
a
sorry to
Valentine's Day?
Say that again, author.
So what's a Valentine's Day?
Okay, that's a topic for a different time.
More
And
or less holiday to celebrate love is the general idea of it.
They open their beak, they shut it. Okay.
Yes. I did meet Daffodil, like I said. I say, so no bad plots? Not at least not that I know of. I have not met Trini myself, but yeah.
What is worrying about Trini then? And the professor is distinctly looking at T.O.C.
They sigh. Well, the last time we met, we had a pretty nasty fight about his lack of self-care. And
Oh.
I was tossed out of the apartment.
Oh.
I gave him 24 hours to get his shit together. And instead of doing that, he packed up and left. And left an extremely unhelpful note.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah, you might want to make an insight on Scribbles. Professor with advantage.
Yeah.
13.
Even less for Nebula, which fair. He hasn't met Scribbles too much.
15. My other
you-
roll was lower.
Okay. Yeah, you say. Yeah, Nebula would see that Scribbles is uncomfortable. That is a. T.O.C. would know that. Oh, that hits a. That he's not only uncomfortable, but yeah, he can relate. And yeah, with a 15, yeah, you've seen his past. Say that is hitting way too close to home for him.
Yeah.
I mean, TC will go on, like, they're just talking about, like, Chinese sister was at summer camp, so she'll be staying with them. Like, they're, like, sort of that tense, sort of rambly worry.
Mm-hmm.
It's, yeah.
How old is Trini?
Trini is 23.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, if he were much younger, I would have just dragged him by his television year, but he can make his own choices.
Yeah, Scribbles is just like his hands are tense against the cup he's holding. I hope he can see that you are only trying to do well.
Well, it'll break even one way or the other. And I can't blame him for fixating on what he's fixating on. It's just hard to watch someone destroy themselves.
Yeah.
What is it?
Can we ask?
It's a family business that's particular to him and his sister.
What kind of family business?
The missing family business. I'd rather not go into particulars without his say-so, but...
Understandable, but yeah, I could see why he would fixate on something like that.
Does that mean his family is missing? Or does that mean they make people go missing?
The first one.
Well, alright.
And they just, like... They ruffle their feathers and sort of pull themselves back out of being morose, and they're like... Yes. And it's... Trini is a very opinionated individual, but he's also very smart. Until such time as I hear that, he's been, I don't know, kidnapped, or we have another death in the family, something that we all need to deal with as a problem, that's on the back burner.
If you say so, just be careful. Situations like that can be a bit. Just please. I know. He Scribbles, like his hands rubbing the back of his neck is just like. Just be patient.
Keep an open heart and an open mind, and be ready to take them back in when they return.
Well, that's never in question. It's family is family. but oh, when I see that boy again, I am going to hug him so hard I'm going to break his spine.
There you go, that's the spirit.
Yeah.
They take a sip of their espresso and then look down at it like, ugh.
It's a bit strong, but that's why it's called espresso, not coffee.
Those are just words, but okay.
Well, how about, Marigold? I've, heard there's quite the situation, surrounding her.
Yeah.
T.O.C. starts again.
Yeah. Haven't heard anything or anything myself. I've tried to look around, but have you had any more information on that situation? Either of you? It looks between T.O.C. and Nebula.
Well, you met the dead god. They're still holding steady. I don't think the two of them have had any trouble so far, but we also haven't had any contact with the individual who might be a danger to her. But yeah, it's the old bastard at least is fine. They're keeping their end of the bargain.
Have you heard anything from the Grove Mother?
We've exchanged some letters. They're safe on the mainland. Well, safe. There's a reason they're still moving, but
Who's the Grove Mother?
Sorry, Marigold.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. Marigold's original patron.
Oh, alright.
Deity of nature and migration. Very nice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have not met them myself, but T.O.C. has.
Alright.
Nebula's just kind of sitting here nodding because T.O.C. has more information than he does on this specific part of Marigold.
Oh,
So, yeah.
how is Marigold herself doing?
Well, he puts his cup down.
Oh.
That's probably where I come in.
I did hear a little bit. She did give me a summary last we met. It didn't sound great.
That's lightly putting it. You all know my research about Magic-K and their connection to genius loci, and Scribbles looks at Scratch, who Scratch is just taking a nap under T.O.C.
Yeah, T.O.C. by the way has sat up and is looking very alert because their girl has not reported back to Juniper's apartment yet. They have been giving space, but also like they are one sleeping Scratch away from getting up and piecing.
Well, I have this colleague named Faber. He is a genius loci specialist who was recommended to me by Little Lynn Stagehand, who has also now become a colleague and friend of mine as of lately. Though Lynn is a detective who runs her own business, the Stagehand Requiem, and she also has a genius loci, and that's how I got to meet Faber, because she has a very large network, to say the least. But when I was meeting with Faber, well, he showed me something very interesting, which was a spell tablet, but it was in the script of, well, their local deity, Umbercom. Which, according to my girlfriend, that is not that is very abnormal. They don't use the speech of Umbercant as written words like it has in the spell tablet.
Mm-hmm.
I say though, because Sally is a cleric of the faith, she knew how to at least translate the symbols word for word, since each letter can be directly translated into a letter in common. So me, her, and originally Marigold were gonna take a trip to Salunia to visit Favor and hopefully get this settled out. However, I didn't want to say I mean he's a little bit quiet trying to figure out how to like do this in a story format. But before that, there were some connections to the Pokemon that, well, were a little bit concerning. That was with Lynn. She was actually on it. She's actually has a little conspiracy board of it where there have been cases of Pokemon which they don't normally go off their island, but they've been causing trouble with an inkwell.
Really?
Don't know. Yes. I don't know all the details, but I know they have been causing some break-ins and stuff, and
Oh.
she was looking into it for more reasons than one. Some of them are a bit personal to her,
Mm-hmm.
but
But
since
also,
her
she's a
son,
detective.
exactly, her son is a Pokemon, and she was looking in not only for that but also from other stuff to protect him.
Mm-hmm.
She specializes in witness protection and and going in to help people from the toon trade and everything, some dark stuff, but that's besides the point for right now.
The what?
It's a whole thing, Professor. It's very much the darker side of Inkwell. Not many, well, there's a reason why some toons do not trust real kind.
Yes,
There are reasons why toons don't trust toons.
Indeed.
True.
I've seen evidence of perhaps not exactly what you're speaking of, but at least something similar in concept. Here.
Yes.
But, alright, so she is involved in that.
She looks into it when she looks into it. And she's able to get people out and do a lot of good work. I trust her wholly. I as someone who also now has a soul bond to for her network, her genius loci, and then me for Scratch. I've seen that bond and I trust her with my life. But and I wrote her a letter saying that we were going to Favor and this could possibly be a part of the Pokemon case that she was currently working on. And, well, it turns out that we don't know for how long, but we were definitely being watched because the person who, well, again, I'm trying to get my thoughts in order. There's a lot. But we went to Salunia and basically he is a very powerful magic user who basically had a large illusory terrain and made us think that we were somewhere else entirely.
Ah.
And we
And
know this
they were watching Marigold.
all of us. Me, Sally, Marigold, and Lynn. And we played their game, so to speak. We met two of, well, who we know as the King of Rings now.
Uh-huh.
And we met two of his underlings named Yoko and Betty. They weren't too much trouble, but the man himself in some form made an appearance. And even though it was only in a temporary body, I could feel the magic radiate off him. It was very powerful.
Mm.
When the illusion is up, we found Salunia not burned fully to the ground, but it was definitely under attack. And
Salunia...
it's a town in northern UPA.
Oh dear, good grief. First... Oh, good grief.
Yeah, it's a whole area. It's very beautiful generally, but when we went to see Faber, he was protecting the town, and he and his sister got feeble-minded.
Oh.
Yeah, they think they're cats now.
They weren't able to be restored?
Lynn is working on that right now. They're trying to find some high enough leveled healers to be able to be able to fix them.
I see. Who was this high level person in a temporary body that you were speaking of?
They call themselves the King of Rings.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Lynn was originally and well, things pointed to us going to Lavender Town, which was the island that was holding prisoner. Well, Pokemon come in different types. There are a lot of them based on the elements. There's water, fire, grass.
Oh, sure.
But we found out later when we went to the island that there was a coup a long time ago where the darks and ghost types, at least a fraction of them, under the power and leadership of the King of Rings, tried to take over their council. And well, we don't know their exact motivations yet, but it supposedly caused the island to sink. And the only remaining person on the council, Ark, who was a power type, decided to banish all ghost and dark types.
Oh, grief, one of those.
Yes, indeed, one of those. Thankfully, the dark and ghost types aren't living in a hellscape of a prison. They were just left on an island to do whatever. They just could never leave the island. Thankfully, Ark, he smiles. Ark was a little bit stupid to think that an island full of druids would not be barren. Of course, they had to hide it so they wouldn't get in trouble by Ark, but they are very much fine despite them being trapped.
There's something at least.
Indeed.
Can we go back to the part where you all woke up in the middle of a burning town?
It wasn't in the middle. The illusion dropped and we found our way to the town because of the smoke, but yeah, that happened. I had to settle down, Marigold.
T.O.C looks at Nebula. She doesn't do well with fire. She doesn't do well with fire at all.
When she told me about it, she was not in a great state.
Seeing her memories for myself, she's very,
No, I know. It, hmm.
So, you go.
How, T.O.C, you mentioned before that, Marigold's body is detrimental to her well-being. Do we have a time frame on finding a solution for that? Or rather, do we have a time frame on when we need to find a solution for that, if you know what I mean?
The dead god is in a... Have I mentioned the dead god to you? I feel like I have.
Only in passing. I think they... Are they the one that keeps tabs on you?
Yes, they're an old friend.
Scribbles gives a little smirk at that.
Mm. But there's someone I trust. And it's come to light that they're not telling me everything, but I know that they legitimately hold affection for Marigold, and they will not let her down.
Well, that's...
So she has a steady source of power for now. This needs to be something that we're working on actively.
Yes, I agree. However, there is one other thing that I feel like I need to make note in this little Pokemon-y situation. We found, like I mentioned, we thought the original island that the Pokemon lived on, an island called Cinnabar, was sunken into the ocean. Apparently, that is not so. We don't know how to exactly get there yet, and we don't have a way to possibly track where it is as of yet. But once we do, Marigold very much seemed to be in the favor of following me to the island to hopefully resolve this.
How did you find out that it wasn't sunken?
Well, we found out. Well, while we were while we were at Lavender Town, there was this heretic named Nick, who was originally with. Well, he is still with the King of Rains, but because he's trapped on the island, he can't really help the king. Or the so-called king. And with some very good persuasion with Lynn, she was able to find out from Nick that his base is actually on the island. Though I will admit that Lynn is an extremely good actor, is really good at being a detective, and did scare Marigold a bit. Thinking that she possibly was a turncoat.
TSD has their little head in their hands.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. I reassured them, and I reassured them after the fact that that we could trust Lynn and stuff. I had to do that also again with my own girlfriend, Silly, because Nick was very keen to, well, making her a shish kebab. So yeah, it was a whole thing. Lynn was able to get information, but it was a little bit from. It did take a little bit of their sanity doing it.
How are you dealing with all this?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm just trying to keep calm.
To look at Scribbles, how calm from a scale of 1 to 10?
I mean, he's hiding it pretty well, but he is really stressed. As a grandparent, you recognize that this guy is very stressed.
They flutter up and they settle on his shoulder.
Oh, thank you.
They sip their espresso. They're good at being a support animal.
Scratch is following. He wants the warmth.
Oh,
They would have picked up Scratch and, like, sort of rolled Scratch back underneath them on Scribbles' shoulder.
Oh. So, I'm trying to personally get some stuff back to normal, as it were. I actually, hopefully, well, I have to, since it's been a year since I left college and took my break. So I need to go back and handle all that stuff. And he does look at the professor. And I honestly would love if you could come with me when the time comes.
Sorry, go back to... out of character, can you repeat what you just said? I got distracted for a second.
Oh, it's okay. Scribble just says, like, I need to go back to... Basically, Scribble say, I need to go back to college to finish up some stuff, and because of administration stuff, and he really liked the professor to come along with when the time comes.
Yeah, the professor nods, and he's smiling. No, I'd be happy to help you out with that.
Thank God, I honestly, I need a barrier between if my sister does, like we do see her on campus, I'm just afraid that she'll literally punch me in the face.
What is going on here?
My family and my birth family and I haven't seen eye to eye for a while. I did write back to my sister like you said, Professor.
Good.
She hasn't responded back, but I at least made an attempt. I'm going to again once I get to college, but that's also the reason why I want you near me, just because you at least met her.
Right. She, I don't see why she'd have anything against me, at least.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I need for right now.
I'm sure it'll be alright.
Yeah.
It's going to take some work to gain her trust back, but, I think you're up to the challenge.
Thank you. At least someone has confidence with me, because I sure as hell don't have confidence in me.
Scribbles, may I?
Yes.
I don't want to speak out of turn, but a very casual reminder that all of my sisters are dead. It's the people that you have left are precious.
I know. And I see that now. Because I sure as hell didn't before, when it was just only a year ago, but I am glad I met all of you, and I am definitely doing better.
They preen his weird squiggly hair.
Stop that!
Nebula is like, I don't think he has context for any of this, so he's just like sitting here not sure whether he should ask for any or if he should just let it go.
Scribbles did say that they don't get along with their family, but
Yeah, he got that part, but yeah.
He probably takes notes of Nebula's like, it's a longer story. The professor only knows because wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff happened.
Oh, he like kind of tilts his head like first at Scribbles and then the professor, because this is what?
Oh, he time travels.
Oh,
Yeah.
He just kind of blinks, like there's much curiosity in Nebula's face.
The professor is kind of, when, T.O.C. had very bluntly said, all of my sisters are dead, the professor rolled deception and did very poorly. So,
No.
even though he knew that, he kind of jolted a little bit and then adopted a very careful blank expression that is not his default expression, so you could tell something's wrong. But now you're talking about time travel, and he's just sort of trying to switch gears, and he just sort of nods blankly.
Oh no.
Sorry, T.O.C., you kind of caught him off guard there.
Yeah, looking at him like, oh, fuck, I broke the real kind. One day
Nebula-
we'll have a normal goddamn conversation with this poor man.
Nebula has like no context for any of this.
Mm-hmm.
T.O.C. will also, like, if there's like a little bit of a, like an awkward pause, they'll also like to cheerfully sign, also an alien.
Yeah, that's like gosh, that's like a very loud like what from Nebula.
We knew that would do it.
Yeah, that definitely does it. Gosh, okay, hold on. I'm gonna I'm gonna roll a deception for
Oh
Nebula.
boy.
Where's his... Okay,
Would you
Huh?
perhaps accept disadvantage because like T.O.C. is sort of like Will Smith handsing with their wings at
Yeah.
Nebula, like look, yep.
Yeah. I'll go for disadvantage, and you guys can contest as well. Well, that's already 6, so
Well,
Is
you
it
never
6
know
for
if you're gonna
what?
get.
yeah. So no, that is. Yeah, he is not covering much up. He's very excited. Professor's eyes are sparkling.
Uh-huh. He sort of shakes himself out of his blankness and just sort of tilts his head a little bit. Yes?
Man, I don't know. I don't know what he'd say. Like, he's just, like, very excited.
Beastins.
Yeah, gosh, yeah, I am blanking right now. I guess, okay, like, where we're from specifically?
Oh. About, I don't know. How much do you know about space?
T.O.C. Snickers.
Because I could either explain it as, hey, the things up there in the sky are stars, by the by, or I could tell you coordinates. Where along on that range are you? Because I've met all sorts.
Gosh, I don't know how, like, I don't know how common knowledge coordinates would be. Tranquil.
Maybe.
We've had, like, it's outside of the Toonkind universe. I can tell you that we've had like a system for mapping the night sky and like pointing out, directionally where things are since the Renaissance. Like that's like Copernicus shit. It's up to you how much that you want that in your D&D, but I mean the heliocentric model is old as shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, the professor's just sort of asking for, like, a, like, from 1 to 10 to, like, you don't know anything about the sky to, like, you've been up there and you know where stuff is. Where exactly, are we shooting for?
I have been researching it for the past 6 years. Let's say that. I know a decent amount.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, let's see. Let's see. What constellation? I don't know. Name one of the more well-known constellations, and I can tell you whereabouts I am in relation to that. If you were to look up at the sky.
I don't know what kind of, like, constellations they'd have in D&D world.
And
Inkwell, specifically.
I don't know. They're toons. You could probably just make one up.
Yeah.
Like the...
Yeah, he just, like, names one of them.
Maybe, like, the quill
Great
or
dog.
something. The great dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great dog.
Bees.
Yeah.
The bee.
What?
I think they're
Matching off with the bees.
bees.
Bees? Yes.
I mean, all of the constellations are bees. If you look hard enough.
All right. All right. The professor just sort of like taps his finger on the table thoughtfully. He says, "All right. So you've got the swarm of bees, and you've got the queen bee, which is the biggest one. Well, it's not a star. It's actually a galaxy that's very, very far away.
I think, like, partway through this... Hold on. Partway through this conversation, he takes his star map out of his... I called it inventory. Hammer space.
Oh, you have one of those.
He has this on hand.
Very useful. All right, let's see. He's gonna sort of lean over to point at it. All right. So right about here, that galaxy. About where this is, but quite a lot farther in towards the center of the universe. There's another galaxy called Bercastris, and one of the systems in there has a planet called Falagray, and that is from where I originate.
It's like nodding the whole time. That's fascinating. How did you get here specifically?
I have a ship. It's less of the atmospheric variety and more teleportation.
He is extremely interested. There's no hiding this. He is looking intently.
Scribble does. Yes, the ellipsis is an amazing machine. Scratch is very fond of her, very much so. And he looks over at Scratch and who's still asleep. Smiles.
What's it like?
What's what like?
The ship.
Oh, the ship. Well, she's one of the older models, but still quite more advanced than most areas. I mean, I have to take a closer look, but probably all areas of this planet, to be honest, as long as things are progressing properly.
Bigger on the inside, that's for sure.
Well, sure, but that's not too unusual in at least Inkwell itself, which I have to say I was rather impressed by when I found out, because don't know how much the three of you know, but goodness, it took a long time for us real kinds to figure out bigger on the inside technology. I'm talking thousands of years. And yet you've got it here in just a few centuries.
I mean, as long as it's funny, anything can happen in NyQuil. I take
That's
it
very
your people
true.
have less of a sense of humor?
Oh, by light years and light years. Far less.
Well, there you go then. Start a comedy night.
Oh.
So speaking of technology, Nebula, I don't think I've told you this yet, but I did learn something new about Scratch. Did you say something, Arrows? I didn't hear
Yeah,
you.
I just said, oh.
Scratch can actually power magical machines.
Really?
Yeah, it has to be the right chords and make sure the magic is flowing into the machine correctly before it explodes. But because he is made of pure magic, he's basically can be a little battery, you could say.
That's fascinating. What does that have any effect on him?
He does say I would probably relate it similar to like spell slots for us magic users, where there's only a certain amount that we can do before being extremely detrimental to our health. But because of how concentrated he is, it can last for a pretty long time.
That's fascinating.
It is.
I would have loved for him and Marigold to have found this out under less perilous conditions, but
Yeah, that's also what I wanted to bring up because I'm not very sure if Nebula knew this also, but we found this out because Scribble touched. I did touch technically because we're soul linked, but Scratch touched Marigold's soul.
Oh.
T.O.C. looks stressed.
This is not information that Nebula was expecting.
Yeah, apparently the device that is currently holding Marigold's soul can be powered, and she can actually regain her sense of touch after a little bit after Scratch touches it and gives her magic.
Really?
Yes. Unfortunately, this could not replace the dead god because, well, this is very finite and he is still a baby. And Scratch, Scratch doesn't wake up and there is a little shuffle like he heard that.
Oh.
T.O.C. sort of like puts a wing over Scratch, like, go back to sleep. And with the other one, they sign, I think it's setting a bad precedence to power one of our children with another one of our children.
Yeah, exactly.
Indeed.
Not recommended.
Though, I will have to say, Professor, how have you been doing since Epsilon?
Well, it's good thing you sent people to, it's a good thing the three of you had somebody check up on me the next day because, I wasn't doing quite as well as I thought I was. But it's, they helped me think through some things, and I've recovered from the whole ordeal since then. You can roll insight if you want.
I will roll insight.
I'm wondering if Nebula even should, given that he has no information whatsoever.
23. Yeah, like T.O.C. is like, wait, what is this? Who is this? What happened? Who's in danger now?
Nebula got 22.
Wow!
Yeah, he doesn't have any context, but he knows something's up.
Yeah. Wait, T.O.C, was that a 20... Was that... Oh, yeah, that was your 23 as well.
Yes.
I mean, Scribbles, you were there.
Yeah.
But, so you have all the context. The professor is definitely leaving quite a bit out. Not just out of things that you know, but also things that you don't know. Like, you can tell that something big happened, but you cannot tell what. And you can tell that it affected him, but he does seem to be better now than when you left him. Let's see. Nebula. Yeah, this man is definitely hiding some things, leaving some things out, being very brief about something that probably shouldn't be glossed over. And just given how you've it just from the very, very short amount of time that you've interacted with him, to see him sort of hesitating around this is at least cause for... It's significant and probably cause for concern. Because he says other things like, I used to live in the center of the galaxy, of the universe, very casually, but he won't talk about this. T.O.C, yeah, some big stuff went down, and he's not telling you about it, but it was... you can see on his face that it was a bad experience, and he's really been through it lately, and he may be like stable now, and can maintain a sense of normalcy. He is not, as he said, over it.
Yeah, you have a chicken staring into your soul. Like, they're like over their teensy little espresso cup. They're just like, they can smell your bullshit.
Mm-hmm. He reaches back and rubs the back of his neck, kind of sheepishly.
I'm guessing you didn't tell Elise T.O.C about this.
I didn't really tell anyone.
This is why we're having these meetings. You seem fine now, but I mean...
No, he doesn't.
He winces.
I think T.O.C will take up Scratch and Flutter from Scribbles' shoulder to the professor, and they'll put Scratch down, and then they'll, like, sort of ruffle in. You now have a chicken sitting on your shoulder with a very small child.
He just kind of, like, sighs and resigns himself to his fate. All right.
Like,
I took Scribbles and two other companions and faced off against an old enemy, the ghost of one of the three beings that created my race, and the singular inventor of time travel as we know it.
Nebula's just like blinking man gift. Like, what? Hello?
Right. he possessed me for a time and attacked my my companions.
Yeah, that was a fight. I did not like that fight at all. Ugh. Again, I'm sorry. I hit you so hard.
No,
I just wanted.
I'm glad you were able to knock me out. I before he could do anything more to you. But while that was going on, and we had our he sort of rolls his eyes. We had our. I found out what I needed to find out from him. We had our conversation. I was able to say my apologies, as much as he doesn't necessarily deserve them. But what I'm afraid you and Arata and Sammy didn't see was that while he was in there, in my head, that is, he was making good on his threat to, I believe he said, shred my mind. Things were sort of a mess in there afterwards.
There's extreme concern from Nebula.
Yeah, there's extreme concern from Scribbles. Yeah.
T.O.C, who rolled really, really well on a wisdom saving throw, is calm for now.
Oh no.
Oh no.
But yeah, he sort of looks away and taps his fingers on the table. He says, "Well, after that encounter, you'd been gone a week. You had to leave, but I mean, I insisted really, but it really is." I'm really truly thankful that you sent somebody to check on me because I was in a bad way. I had essentially gone comatose. The mental strain plus his parting comments about my original family sort of stirred up some old mental wounds, and I was stuck like that until let's see, Seeker and I can't believe I had to bring Seeker into this. I mean, I really tried to tell them, I really tried to get them to leave. I mean, especially after Seeker had been possessed, I really didn't want. I really didn't need him to be. I didn't mean to draw him into my own mind, but that's what happened with Seeker and child named Amber and a new acquaintance named Lore. But they sorted through some old memories and some rather bad memories, and finally sort of fixed a 600-year-old semi amnesia problem that I had. So it's fixed, but at the cost of remembering all of the terrible things that happened. So he just sort of shrugs.
Scribbles gives a nod. So you know what happened to your family?
Yes. Yes, I do.
T.O.C. brings a little bit of the professor's hair.
Mm.
We won't, at least I won't push on it right now, but I say I'm truly glad that at least you got that fixed somewhat, but
Hmm.
I just, I mean, you know, therapy is a thing, right? I say,
Well, I know, but it hadn't.
maybe.
He looks a little defensive. He says, first off, look, I've tried. I've spoken to. I've spoken to powerful psychics. I've spoken to magic users, hoping if it was some form of modified memory that they could restore
I
it.
understand. No, I understand that. It's like, I'm just saying now that you do know, it's just like, I mean, just talk to someone about it. I mean, again, I won't push exactly to ask what happened to your family, but I can only imagine how much trauma it has.
He 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 just kind of shrugs.
And I can talk to Seeker and make sure he's okay. Don't beat yourself up for needing help. He's an adult. He's Seeker, but he's an adult.
Mm-hmm.
I will let you know what teeth I managed to pull.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go back to Seeker being possessed?
Oh.
I was not aware of this.
Do you know Seeker?
Indeed.
Ah.
Was how Seeker and I and Nebula met. Is Nebula's neighbor put out a notice asking for some adventurers.
Nebula is like, he's like, oh no. He's like, oh, why are you telling this?
Because they're a grand run and they're full of embarrassing stories.
Nebula has his head in his hands while they're saying this.
Nebula was refusing to go to bed for such a long time that their neighbor put out a public notice asking for someone to come help.
Ah, I see. Yeah, Scribbles looks at Nebula and is just like, man, you really got lost in the sauce, didn't you?
Listen, I don't have an excuse for that, but they should not have made a public announcement.
Oh, to be fair, that ghost was a bitch.
Oh,
But
indeed.
also, you should have been in bed.
These are not conflicting statements.
But Seeker, yes, there was a rather desperate quarry who wanted to get back.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry, now I can't. Nuts and bolts gallery. Shush. Yes, there was a quarry who was rather he'd been separated from his Kalashtar and was rather desperate to get him back. I'm really not sure how he managed to exist on his own without without his Kalashtar sort of soul bonded other half, but he did, and caused a fair amount of trouble with a few different people before finally settling in Seeker for the final piece of rather disturbing conspiracy.
I see.
And the unfortunate thing is that we didn't know. We didn't realize he was possessed until nearly a full day had passed. And there were signs.
Oh, I see.
This was just before that night that we encountered him, Nebula, correct, Professor? When he was acting very strange.
Yes. It was before that. It affected him deeply. In ways that I'm not even entirely sure I have full context for.
I mean, don't blame you. I don't think I could either in that situation.
Was T.O.C saying this was before choreography? Or
Yeah,
were they talking about a different? Oh,
this was the day before Black Rose's debut.
mm-hmm. No wonder he was like that when we found him. Then stars.
Indeed. It's hard to tell how he's doing because he always seems to. He hides it too well.
That boy was given the ability to lie and immediately decided that was all he wanted to do, all the time, every day.
Yes. That's not an exaggeration.
Let's see.
I hope that he's doing better. Winter seems to suit him. I was able to spend a little bit of time with him that I genuinely hope was legitimately happy.
Oh, I have to, have any of you seen the posters with, Seeker's face on them? About town? Only it was, not recent. It was, definitely, Seeker before, at least, the picture was at least definitely Seeker before I met him.
I think I have actually. Yes.
Was it the satyr? Is
Yes.
he a satyr?
He is.
Okay. I think I maybe have two then.
Yes.
I've been wondering about those myself. And they start to say something else, and then they stop, and they kind of look. You can roll an insight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll insight.
I said nat 20!
Woo!
Oh my god.
Scribble is now giving T.O.C the luck.
19 for.
Alright.
I am loving these new modifiers now that I've leveled up. 17.
Oh, you guys have insight on the chicken or advantage on insight on the chicken as well.
Oh,
yeah,
advantage?
Nebula used his.
I mean, I got nat 20.
You got a nat 20.
My other number is a 15, so I'll take that 17.
Fair enough. So, with a nat 20, you can say that when it comes to Seeker's past, T.O.C. looks like they have more information, but they also look kind of uncertain about it. Sort of like, should they say it? Should they not? Maybe they should say it. I think with a 17, you get like they're weighing that. It's sort of the same. Like it's all of you can see that like they are weighing their sort of like, should they?
T.O.C., you were the one who even suggested we have these meetings because we wanted to protect the people that we loved. If you have information that you think we should know so we can better help watch out for Seeker, then I think you should tell.
Well, and they're like they're ASL or sign language stammering on the professor's shoulder. Like you might get buffeted by wings a couple times. They're like, well, it's not. Maybe it's a matter of safety. Maybe it's not. It's if it was direct danger, I'd bring it up. But it's, and I don't even know for sure. But I may have met Seeker a very long time ago. Maybe, possibly.
Possibly?
I'm not sure.
The professor opens his mouth and closes it. You're welcome to, especially you, T.O.C., you're welcome to roll insight on him. Although, should I just go with whatever y'all, rolled since... Oh, an 8?
That's a net one.
Fail.
Boom!
I mean,
Nothing.
You're flustered right now.
He's on...
I said
You're on his
Scribbles.
shoulder, you can't see.
Scribbles is gonna probably roll with that nat 20.
Yeah, T.O.C. just said they might have met Seeker a long time ago, and the professor just had a sudden look on his face of, what? Wait, but so did I. What are you talking about?
Scribbles just sighs and puts like his head in his hand for a second, just like face palm. Time stuff, Professor? And I'm guessing maybe even T.O.C.? Though I'd be more surprised for you, T.O.C.
Oh, you shouldn't be. T.O.C.'s involved in some time stuff.
Well, this is new for me then.
Well, yes, I met Seeker as a young child, but I don't think he remembers. It was I shouldn't say. I don't want to risk
We understand.
It's not really relevant. I don't think.
Nebula is now looking at T.O.C. like you made him met him before.
They compose themselves sort of, and they go, well, recently I had the opportunity to meet Seeker's mom.
What? You did?
Oh.
Yeah, she has arrived in Einquelt looking for him because do you expect this boy to keep steady correspondence, or at least honest correspondence?
What, they haven't met each other? When was
I'm
that?
not sure. When I spoke to Seeker, he hadn't seen her yet. But she's kind. She is also extremely powerful and a little bit scary, but kind.
I see.
Is that what the missing posters have been about?
No.
I don't think so, but
No.
in terms of
In the missing poster, it was drawn by hand. He in it, Seeker had long matted hair, looked partially starved, very unlike himself. Not a spark of life in his eyes, and there was a burn on his neck. It was a missing persons poster, but with no return name on it. Although there was an address. I don't know if this was what he was like when he first arrived in Inkwell or what, but I never heard that story.
I mean, what was the address?
Well,
if it's like close enough, like I get crossing things off the list, I will go over there.
The professor would remember the address, but Magic, out of character, Magic did not actually give me the address. If you want to do that, actually... Magic, you absolutely can. But the professor would remember what it is. Just saying.
I actually can tell you, because this is actually partially my lore.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Any information given about the whereabouts of this individual should go to a merchant ship currently docked in Toontown Harbor called the Vengeful Dead.
Huh.
Yep.
Okay, so given that that's what the address is, the professor, I think, is recalling that, and he says it. He recites that out loud, and then frowns, and his frown deepens, and he says, "But that doesn't really... But Seeker doesn't like seafaring ships, I don't think. I wonder..."
T.O.C. looks grim.
This is definitely one to put on the conspiracy board.
I mean, it's... Honestly, I don't even like the name of that ship. That just seems ominous.
I agree there.
Well, to be fair, Seeker is sort of into that sort of thing with grim imagery stories, the dead. But I don't think I think that's just a coincidence.
Scribbles is just like, you know, he's like, maybe not. He's not for sure. It's more like, you never know. I've seen Lynn put together stuff that seemed to be coincidence, but it wasn't. So that does get him to think, he's like, So T.O.C, you shouldn't be. I mean, I'm surprised to hear that. Well, Seeker's mother scared you since you've met so many. Well, famous and bigger people. Like you have the dead god. You have the Seeker mother. You met Pete Moss before. They're pretty famous.
Sorry, what? Pete Moss?
Yes. The last time I met the dead god, they changed their shape to be the one of Pete Moss. Though I
How do you know who
never
that
met
is?
them.
Hang on one sec. Okay, so they don't fall off the professor's shoulder, but they look a little wild when they turn to you and they go, what? Hang on.
Yeah, I've seen the professor before through, well, knowledge of my studying the arcane, but I never met them. I assumed that you were the one who met them before.
Which one? They look like dozens of people.
Describes what he then saw when they saw the professor.
Are you sure it was her?
I'm pretty damn sure. I keep up to date with all the researchers and professors.
They look at Professor. There's so much in their expression.
So they're still around.
I mean, they're old, but
Where?
Scribbles shrugs.
Oh.
I don't keep that up to date.
This, Pete Moss is, somebody I certainly want to meet again, but, possibly has some relation to, a figure in T.O.C.'s past, but it is unclear, whether they are just, look-alike, or if they are in fact the correct person. Goodness. If you hear anything about them, please let one of us know, directly as soon as possible.
I'll put it on the board. And Scribbles then turns and goes to the library. And 2 seconds later, comes out with this giant conspiracy board.
Well, I'm afraid it's more complicated than that. God, it doesn't make any sense.
Quick question, because I don't remember if Nebula has heard anything about Pete Moss before.
I will say probably, because it was a big scandal. It would be before Nebula's time, but a while back there was this huge scandal about a professor at a local university who was caught, with trying to plagiarize a huge amount of research, and it got really messy, and there were accusations thrown around, and you can roll a history to figure out how much you know about the particulars, but the name Pete Moss is a little bit
not much
black.
on that though. All right.
Yeah, the Scribble is now starting to write more stuff on the conspiracy board and adding more stuff to it. Also, if you ever meet Little Linda Stagehand, do not tell her I had this.
The professor just grins mischievously.
God, but
you go.
T.O.C. is just like, wait, because the reason I brought up meeting Seeker's mom is because I may have met her before.
You don't think the other, the satyr?
I don't know, because Seeker's not that old. He's what, 20, 21?
I mean,
thereabout.
like you just said, Professor, both of you two are in time stuff, so it could be in the realm of possibilities.
The timeline would. It would
I mean,
work. It would work out if either that was Seeker's mother or if that was Seeker's one of Seeker's mother's parents. Either one.
well,
It wouldn't
it's
be too
the
much of a stretch, I don't think.
T.O.C is starting to shake because it. I mean, it's. I don't remember much, but I recognize a scar, a scar that I left because it her. There was a child, a little satyr who was friends with my girl, and his mother came by, and she moved too quickly.
Ah, dang it.
Died.
We lost.
No.
No. No, Discord.
Oh no.
You good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Where did I lead off?
Move too quickly.
Yeah.
She moved too quickly, and I tore her wrist up a little bit. And she still has the scar. That's how I recognized her. Scars aren't hereditary.
Wait, but so she was that old back then?
But
That doesn't make sense at all.
But her son was only a few, maybe 1 or 2 years younger than my girl. If that were true, she'd be 23. But she can't be. If she's Pete Moss, she can't be 23 because you met her 50 years ago. But if you like, T.O.C is starting to stutter and shake, and they don't look well.
The professor reaches up and he's gonna pull T.O.C down off his shoulder onto the table and just give him some comforting pats.
Mm.
Probably just taking his wake and Scratch up, and Scratch is like, talk?
They just sit and they shake for a sec. They might absently hold out a wing for Scratch, but they're just, man.
Yeah, Scratch immediately goes in for the hug.
Yeah. Nebula's gonna like put a hand on them, like comfort.
Yeah, Scribbles is gonna stop his conspiracy boardness and go over there and sits beside them.
Yeah, T.O.C eventually shakes everyone off except Scratch, who gets cuddled a little bit, and they go, I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't understand. I just don't.
Where... Now, I know the place you used to live is called the Bog now. Was it actually bog-like? Because I've seen where Seeker and his mother lived, at least at one point in their life, and it was not... Well, to be blunt, it was a mountain.
I mean... Oh, sorry, you go.
Not remotely the same landscape. So is the bog just a name, or was that what the place was like?
No, it was a bog. I mean, I had to drag myself out of it when I finally woke up me. It definitely a bog, and but maybe I don't remember. I just don't. Something about them arriving, and they're
How old was...
fearing the locals.
How old was Seeker at the time? I met a Seeker who was, maybe 7, maybe 10,
I
maybe younger than that.
couldn't have been older than 8. A little thing. It's if it was Seeker, I remember just this very cheerful, very cheerful little thing.
The interest in books
Fearless.
also.
Well, and they laugh a little and they go, well, the kid he was called. He and my girl would always get into trouble for stealing books from the library. But it's
That all
I don't know how
tracks.
much I remember. It's chickens don't look at faces, but he was always bundled up for much colder weather.
Then, well, I mean, considering I met him in a blizzard, I suppose if we're going to try to set up a timeline, I expect he and his mother lived in the mountain for a long time. It seemed to be what all that he knew at that point, and then moved later to this bog, whereupon you met them, and where your timeline and theirs overlapped, and Pete Moss's, considering you were all in that location, and according to Pete Moss, that location is, excuse the pun, swamped with corrupted temporal energy. It does not surprise me too much that they, you, and Moss were all sort of thrown to different points in time when you left.
But that still doesn't prove
No, it doesn't, but
that Pete Moss and my girl are the same person. If she was thrown back in time, there's no telling how far.
well, no, there isn't, but at least it explains Seeker and his mother and you meeting.
Maybe. I don't. It's for so long I have clung to the idea that Kid was okay. I remember him and his mother leaving, and they were cheerful. They were heading on their journey. Sad to leave my girl, I think, but I thought they'd be okay. And Seeker's not okay.
No, but we're working on that.
You said they were on a journey?
I don't know why.
Well, he does go by Seeker now. That's sort of lends itself to that sort of lifestyle. Although
I see.
I never figured out what he was seeking.
I mean, maybe it's a cultural thing. I mean, maybe that's one way we can try to connect the dots. What was the culture upon the mountain, and what was the possible reasoning behind it? Maybe
I can tell
that
you
makes
about
sense.
Very
the
religious.
bog, but
Seeker got lost in the middle of a religious ceremony. A blizzard came by, and well, that's when I arrived. Returned him to his home. Although he doesn't seem to remember any of this, which only further supports the idea that after that point, he encountered the place that would later become known as the Bog.
Mm. But I mean, you said that he was very young. I mean, it could be also possible that he just didn't remember you.
It's possible, but well, it's possible, and he was also in something of a state after having been half frozen. But he's not the sort of person to forget something like that quite so easily. Seeker is the sort of person that commits things to memory and holds on to those things with all of his might.
Interesting. You have any thoughts on this, Nebula?
Not too much. I don't know a whole lot. I do know that he is the tape and green light, the gods that he follows. They are very much into stories and such, and he is similar. He goes gathering them. I think Nebula would know this. I don't magic left, so I can't confirm it, but I think he'd know this.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So if he's traveling, he could be traveling searching for stories and such. They do have an annual festival where they T.O.C, you mentioned going there at one point, where they will
perform
tell stories for the whole day.
That's right, it's in the winter.
Indeed.
Yes, Seeker tried to book a slot in that festival for the entire day, just him telling stories. I took Marigold to the festival itself. It was lovely. We crashed a Gods concert.
Oh,
Oh. Now that sounds like quite a tale.
that sounds fun.
It was actually not that bad. We invited her to go see other stories with us. And she basically helped me babysit. But it's what's his name? The Journeyman.
The Journeyman.
Arata, that's it. I sought Arata's help.
Arata?
Seeker had mentioned him, not by name. He called him the Journeyman.
Oh.
The Journeyman.
Oh.
I see.
I know Arata. You know Arata. He points at Scribbles.
Yeah, I mean, only met him when the, Epsilon thing, but...
Right. Well, alright. Yes, that's who the Journeyman is. Certainly. I'm not entirely sure why he calls him that, but, continue, yes?
And the two of us slogged all over the entirety of Toontown trying to find that person, Seeker. And we found him out in the cold, telling stories by himself. So we bullied him into self-caring. I don't know how much good we did, but...
I see.
Well, I'm glad you went out to look for him.
Seeker is between this and the posters and the timelines, and it's this Pete Moth. I haven't looked too much into this character. It's
Well,
I should, but I'm a little scared.
Scribbles puts a hand on T.O.C. Well, I can say you have us. If you ever want any help, I'm more in the academic field, as you know, so maybe I can try to scrounge up a little bit more information on them.
That would be appreciated.
Well, and if we're able to actually get in contact, I'd be willing to extend a hand first, considering we, at least me and this person certainly are acquainted. They possibly hate me now, but we got along pretty amiably while we were together. So I'd be willing to at least interview them.
What did you do to make them hate you?
I've no idea. At
Another
least
attack?
they... What?
I was about. Sorry, no. Scribble mumbles underneath his breath. Another attack on the board.
Right. Well, it may not even be anything of consequence. It's just I found their journal some 50 years after we actually met, and they'd put a note next to their entry on me and said not to be trusted. But he just sort of shrugs. It was T.O.C pointed out that it was an odd circumstance, a little out of character for at least the person I met, and also a little odd that I was able to find that journal in the library in the first place. So,
Yeah.
could have been a plant, but by who? I really don't know.
We'll have to keep an eye on that. I feel like that has a little bit more to it than you think it does.
It quite
Scribbles,
possibly does.
Yeah, and Scribbles takes his cup again and takes a quick sip.
There seems to be quite a lot going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And better reason to have these meetings, you know?
Mm. We want
Thank
to
you
take
all.
a quick break. Or are we?
Yeah, how are we feeling?
Yeah. Nebula should probably mention Fairweather. That's a thing that's been going on with him. But I would like a break before then.
Yeah, we could take a quick break.
Yeah, no worries. Hang
Yeah.
on. Recording paused.
Yeah, recording pause. There we go.
Alright.
Well, how long do we want this break to be?
At
At least 5 minutes?
least 5 minutes.
Alright.
Yeah, that seems right.
Alright, be right back then.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Yeah. Hello, listening audience. How are we doing today? Tonight? Whichever. Oh, hey, Petals. I didn't see you come in. we're taking a quick break. Man, I did not expect that much T.O.C. lore. That was a lot of T.O.C. lore. A lot of Seeker lore. Fantastic for an FPS that does not have Seeker in it. Oh, Angst. Medium, high, medium to high. We've gone over a lot, and we are also going to go over a lot. So if you don't have spoons for that, I hold you very soft. Self-care. Yeah, origin, backstory, lore, Angst. Nothing happening sort of on screen, but like, yeah. Patch of petals, no worries. Man, it's... Can't believe this is how T.O.C. finds out about the Vengeful Dead. Aw, Comet! Comet, I hold you soft. Embrace your inner bastard. Man.
Yeah.
Heroes. Yeah, we should get better about that. It's... Honestly, I think that we probably would have overshot it anyway. My guess would have been medium, not medium to high, but...
I didn't have any idea what it would be, to be honest.
Yeah, like... Could have been just like a book group.
Yeah, there's been a lot of Angst talk. There's been a lot of lore talk.
There has... I did not expect... I didn't expect the Vengeful Dead to be brought up. I didn't expect that much T.O.C. lore to get brought up.
Yeah, I literally rolled a D2 and it told me Scribbles would bring it up.
Man. Meanwhile, like, it's in a far off corner of the continent. Pete, like, just sneezes. What the shit? You're valid. Yeah, it's this. It is people sitting around and talking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Welcome to the equivalent of like a talk radio. God, it's... I did consider like asking if people wanted the dead god here because they are technically in charge of Marigold, but also it's...
There's a lot of characters.
There's already a lot of characters.
Yeah, there's one, two... So many of us. So many of us.
Yeah.
Four.
Author, I assume you have not listened to Mist and Mirrors?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I don't remember how far apart that is from Return to Fairweather, but Nebula probably... They're like... They are separated in time, so Nebula probably would have told T.O.C. what happened in Mist and Mirrors.
Oh boy.
Which is, gosh, basically tourist town in Fairweather. Definitely like two-faced kind of thing. They're not great. They went there. Nebula went there to deliver make a delivery. Yes, it is across the continent, but it was like a special thing. And there were people who were going missing in the mist. And they found that there were kelpies there, and like
Help
trying to
me.
remember if like they succeeded in dragging people under the water or not, but like people were missing. They went looking for a child. I think it's been a while since that. It's been months since that game.
You've given me the general gist of it before.
Okay. Yeah,
But
they.
it's witnessed a resurrection.
That was in Road to Recovery, which is the third installment.
Yeah,
Miss Mirrors is the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Mirrors is the one that T.O.C. would know about. They would not know about what happened in Road to Recovery or Return to Fairweather yet,
okay.
because those happened like a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, basically, in Miss Mirrors, they found a cave entrance that had like a puzzle to open it, and there was the kid that they found, her grandfather, I think. At least that's what she called him. Was like think Full Metal Alchemist with the Chimera. Yeah, that happened. That happened with the child, and her dear friend. It was temporary, but then they were running away. There was a cave in. She got trapped. She got trapped by a bear trap. Yeah, that wasn't great. And they basically lost her and couldn't go back because there was the cave in. Yeah, and they left. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's basically how they left the town. It was not great.
Yeah.
So that's what T.O.C. would know.
cool.
I see. Dang.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
Nebula would have referred to the child as the Little Miss, because they didn't know her name at the time.
Mm. Man.
Dang.
Yeah. Yeah, it's those were some Angst games. Those were some Angst games.
Indeed. Indeed. They sound like there are some Angst games.
Yeah, they certainly were.
Them's angst in them games.
Hello.
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 All right, we're all back.
Are we all good, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Alright.
Maybe just count us down again. If we're all ready.
Oh, I kept mine up, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, whoops.
That's alright. Alright. Alright.
All right.
Alright. 3, 2, 1. Alright. Hello again. We are back. At least for some people. Yes.
Yeah. Should I guess just start off with if that the conversation they're just having has kind of come to a bit of a close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll start with Nebula then. I think he looks at T.O.C. specifically because T.O.C. is the only one who would have told about this. And it's like, oh, update on Fairweather. Good update. I mean, also not great, but also good. It's complicated. A lot happened. The little miss is fine. We found her. We got her off the island.
Good. That
Yes,
place was shit.
it was there was a big wall that was separating another part of the town that
Yes.
he's like he's not happy about this. There was an orphanage. Along just in general, not it was the whole they're one side of the town for tourists and then the other side where everything's not great. The mayor was okay. The mayor would adopt people from the orphanage during voting season and then return them to the orphanage after.
Well, that's sort of shitty.
Yeah,
Lucy looks livid.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
does Nebula.
Yeah, I say Scribbles is just putting that extremely lightly, but yeah, his face is just anger.
Yeah, Nebula is furious at that. We help kids out of there. There was there was a lot. The point is, we got the little miss out of there. Her name is I had the name. Now I have to go look it back up. One moment.
It's okay. It's all right.
No worries.
Deirdre. Her name is Deirdre. She and Tawny is the dear friend. She and Tawny are okay.
You're saying that like they once weren't.
They once weren't. Yes. We were being chased by a lot of Kelpie, and Tawny stopped and turned around and sacrificed himself. That was not great.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
We had one of their antlers on Deirdre's staff, and we found someone who could reincarnate them. So they are okay. They are also a servitor now. They're under the care of one of the people in our group now. But more or less, they are okay now. The fair weather is still not great. Not great at all. But at least they are safe.
I mean, at least they're safe.
T.O.C, I think, inadvertently looks at the professor.
Who did you find to reincarnate?
There was a powerful druid in the forest, in the town off the coast. It was, do you know where Fairweather is?
Is it on a map of Inkwell?
It probably.
Then he knows where it is, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's off the coast of Ghibli.
Yeah, he can at least
it's a tourist town.
It. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tourist town off the coast of Ghibli. It's its own island. There's it's basically almost always surrounded in mist. Yeah.
Huh.
The town we were at was at the coast, and it was about a day's ride to the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Where's this child now? You said in someone's care?
Yes. Amaranth was one of the someone in our group, and she has taken them in. Tawny is also a child, it seems, and certainly does not have experience at being a servitor. But
What were they originally?
a deer.
Oh, like an actual...
Yes.
Ah.
T.O.C. makes sort of a neutral face.
Wait, a toon or a real kind deer?
I think it was a toon, I'm pretty sure. But, like, also couldn't talk. Like a...
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, they, were they sentient before?
Well, they made the choice to sacrifice themselves. They can talk now.
Interesting.
We did have to teach them how to use utensils, but they were a deer before, so
Yes.
makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
To be fair, utensils are not as easy as you all think they are.
Not with chicken feet, I would, or wings.
I don't want to talk about it.
Scribbles gives a smile. It's okay, T.O.C.
But yeah, the Deirdre and Tawny are much better now, but the situation in Fairweathers has not improved much.
Well, hopefully, whether it be you or some other adventurers will hopefully clear that up eventually.
Fully. I hope so. It's been quite a lot.
I can see that.
And how are you doing with it? I don't know where to start in terms of how unpalatable that would have been to go through.
I am doing better now that she is doing better, but it has certainly taken a toll. It's not great, but I am better. And it's been, I've had a few days of rest, a little more than a few days, I suppose. On the bright side, he takes out a wooden bell, and he rings it, and even though it's wood, it does ring. And I don't know if I described it before, but it kind of, man, I don't remember how I described it the first time I described it, but basically, rather than a bell, there is now a lizard dragon skeleton thing there. Let me see. Hold on. Let me bring up a picture. So basically, Nebula has a pet for an hour a day.
Aww.
Hold on. Let me get the picture. It's Summon Beast, I think, is the spell. So it gives 3 forms: land, water, and air. This would be the land version, so it's basically just lizard.
Aw, nice.
Nice.
So cool.
It's about, like, it can wrap itself around his neck, kind of thing. It can perch on his shoulder. So it's small dragon thing.
That's really amazing. As Scribbles a little bit starry eyes just sees this. I mean, he's a magic nerd.
Gosh, I had a name for it. I forgot what the name was. I forgot what the
okay.
name was.
It's okay.
Comment,
I
did I tell
remember-
you? I don't remember.
I remember my vote. I don't think you took it.
So cute.
It's very cute.
Gosh. Well, he says its name, whatever it is.
Mhm.
I know I named it. I don't remember what it was.
It's
I know
alright.
it had to do with space. It was
Nice.
something spacey.
Mm-hmm.
It was something spacey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
remember
It was
Oh,
it was
was
calcium because
was it right?
supernovae sometimes produce calcium mineral.
That's nice. Calcium. That's really cool.
Mm.
Yeah, it's been nice to have. I think he kind of just lets it go on the table, kind of thing. Like not just drops it there, but like kind of places it. There you go. That's the word. On the table and lets it look around. And makes like a little kind of cooing noise, looking around at everyone.
Oh.
Aw. Scratch is immediately going over to Calcium and petting it.
Calcium makes happy noises, and like yeah.
Well, if we're showing off magical stuff, I have something interesting to show.
Oh.
As he then pulls out what looks to be rope, just a simple rope, but there's definitely sort of if they actually have a picture of it. It just looks like a regular rope, really, but there's definitely a magical sort of aura to it.
Mm.
Well, we were on our little journey. I got one of these. It's called an escape rope. If I activate it, it teleports me back to where I have had a rest. And I should probably do hammer space for this, for both of them. Was that for the rope? No, this
That's
is
a
for.
fumble.
I'm gonna go say instead of pulling out a rope, he pulls out something else. But he explains the rope like he did, like pull it out.
That's not a rope, Scribbles.
Yeah, he pulls out a coffee mug that is shaped like an owl. He likes keeping that one that Marigold got him. That's my mug. 1 second. There. And he pulls out the escape rope.
Oh, that's very handy.
Yeah, he's gonna try to pull this again. Yes. He then pulls out a book. While we are on the island, the ghost type leader, his name is Jan, he gave me this crafting book that allows me to create other items that originally only Pokemon knew how to create, but I'm hoping to figure out how to craft it myself for later use, including this escape rope.
Mm-hmm.
That'll certainly be useful.
Yeah, there's only 4 items in this book, but they're a little bit complex to craft, so.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I don't think I have anything really else to report.
Well, you already all heard my news.
Yeah, I think there's like a long moment where they just sort of look at each other like, does anyone else have anything else for the good of the order? T.O.C actually does, they pause and they go, oh, I mean, I told you about, the 5 tadpoles.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've definitely mentioned to you before, Nebula, a young person named Mac. He and his friends, one of which is the reason why I have 4 babies at home now, or 5 babies. They, I've mentioned Jackie before, a little water spirit penguin, one of the very first people I met as myself. They are in trouble, at the hands of an absolute bitch of a ferret. And Mac and his compatriots were tricked, and they are lost in the ocean, and Mac and Philippe and Turpin and the rest are looking for them.
Oh.
Oh my.
And that is all happening offshore. There's nothing that I think the 4 of us can really do to affect that situation other than, if you see a ferret named Mar, punch her lights out.
Mm.
Scribbles nod.
But
Will do.
Some nods from Nebula.
Well, if there's anything we can do, definitely reach out to us so we can hopefully help with that situation.
helping with that situation is, believe me, there is nothing I would like more.
Mm.
But
Fair. Yeah.
Let's see, how are you doing? It seems there's been a lot going on with people that you know.
I'm fine. I'm always fine.
No, you're not.
Yes.
That's a lie.
yeah, Nebula gives them a look.
They sort of disgruntled look at all of it, like
If you're allowed to call us out, we're allowed to call you out.
Oh, absolutely.
that's not how it works because fuck you.
T.O.C.
No. T.O.C.
There are a dozen different battlefronts that I wish I was at the front of. If I could, I would die a dozen more times just to stop all of this. But that's not how the world works, and I am very slowly coming to terms with that.
Well, that much is good.
Yes.
Absolutes are easy, but absolutes don't fix problems.
No.
That's true.
It galls me that I get as many chances as I do, but those are specific to me. Because a stupid little creature in the woods did something they didn't fully understand, and an even more foolish, powerful something heard them and did something they didn't fully think through. And that somehow had a happy ending when all of the people I love who are fighting for happy endings, who deserve them, don't get them.
Fortunately, sometimes the plot is like that.
Plot.
It's sad, but you just gotta say it's hard. I'm not gonna discount that at all. But like you said, we can only fight the battles we can.
Well, plot aside, and the professor has sort of just looked like pensive up to this point because there's a lot that T.O.C just said that he can relate to. And T.O.C. knows some of that. But he says, plot aside, that is sort of just how the world is.
Yeah.
We can only change what we ourselves can exert our own influence over.
Yeah. I actually had a friend now. Their name is Tingy. They actually came to me more recently talking about the plot and how they couldn't really control anything. There's nothing much I could do, but I at least was able to give them a shoulder to cry on. And a very rude chaos god decided to show up. And,
Oh,
they,
I remember them.
Grief.
yeah, he just showed up so he could bash the plot too. I don't know about that guy. I don't know, but that was the thing that happened.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently I'm twice now. T.O.C. met them once, technically, but met the god of Discord. Their name is Chaos.
Oh, dear.
Very interesting guy. That's all I have to say about him. And all I want to say about him before I invoke his name again so he just show up randomly.
Yeah, it's like T.O.C. is just like, oh god. Gods need to knock. They just do. I hate when you just turn around and they're there like they've been there for 5 minutes.
The dead god did knock for me.
I know, I'm still mad about that.
Yeah, at least I was able to have a civil conversation with the dead god.
Mm-hmm.
T.O.C. is just like, ugh.
I know you don't like. I mean that you trust them, but still, I could see that. T.O.C. Ugh.
I would like them more if they were less of a bitch.
Yes, we've heard this before.
Well,
Yeah.
They're just. I think they actually they like hop off the they hop off the table and they go over and they check the window like it. This we've already been here for 2.5 hours, so I
Yeah.
won't roll to see whether or not they're there.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they're just like, ugh.
I do think there's another FPS in like 8 minutes. So
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Scribbles just sighs. They're not there, are they?
They better fucking not be.
Well, how about we say, at least for me, I need to maybe you can guys help me update this conspiracy more, because if we're gonna try to keep all these timeline shenanigans and other possible story threads together, we might as well have it in one place.
Yes, I can fill out the more strange bits as well as I can.
It's all strange. Where are the not strange bits?
That's fair enough. Let's say, and Scribbles is gonna roll for hammer space one last time.
Nebula does not have much to add to this conspiracy board. Like he's not as involved as everyone else is.
Yeah, he still gets out pens for everyone.
T.O.C. walks over and they're just like, I can't reach.
Scribbles is just like, all right.
Scoot a table or chair over.
Scratch, could you help T.O.C? And Scratch gives a little nod as They go over to T.O.C. and try to lift up the chicken.
Scratches?
Yes, because they technically could do this.
Are they casting levitate, or are they being carried by an
They-
egg shape
they're-
and
They are being carried by an egg shape, and that's a 10, so... Scratches tries, but they fail. It's okay, Scratch. You're getting better, though. You were able to lift T.O.C. up a little bit more.
Gosh. Yeah, I think Nebula's gonna bring over, like, a chair or scoot the table over or something for them to stand on.
it is like 3 tall people, and you get the egg-sized hand-shaped child to do your dirty work.
Scribble wants to give his child exercise.
God.
And Scratch does look a bit downtrodden, but then just sits on top of Chicken. Like a
Gosh.
little chick.
Man. I think them, like, sort of winding down the meeting with, like, some conspiracy board arts and crafts is
good
the
way.
best we could ask for.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can't believe this is the second FPS that Nebula has been in that has ended with conspiracy board shenanigans.
Yes.
God.
Indeed.
Like, it's... At some point, they get a second board and just sort of duct tape them together.
Yeah, they had to get both. They had to get a second board.
Gosh.
God.
Yeah, that's a good place to end, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
This has been thoroughly delightful.
It
Yes.
has been.
This has been really good. Everyone is now updated on everything.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the only thing T.O.C. didn't mention was the arrival of Cass. But Cass seems fine for now.
Alright. That's all that matters.
Mm.
But
Thank you all so much for listening, folks.
yes, thank you so much for
Yay.
listening through this.
Thank you, everybody.
And thank you,
Alright.
everyone playing.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is very good, very fun.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Alright. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, folks.